The Trionian Saga, Book 1. Beyond the Border Mountains. Welcome to the Trionian Saga. This isn't just a story. It's a journey into a medieval world where ancient magic still lingers in the shadows, where forgotten gods whisper through the wind, and where every choice carries a cost. If you love epic fantasy, stories filled with tension, mystery, and unforgettable characters, then you're in the right place. So, before we begin, make sure you're ready. Subscribe now, because each week a new chapter unfolds, and once you start this journey, there's no turning back. Now listen closely. Chapter 2. The Vale of Dreams. The seaside city of Mediazes slumbered beneath a moonless sky, its cobblestone streets winding like forgotten memories. The streets, usually bustling with life, were now quiet, with only the occasional echo of a stray cat or the distant murmur of late-night revelers. Within a modest boarding house on the outskirts, Macrillion lay in his humble chamber, a room adorned with wall hangings depicting colorful scenes and a bed that creaked with the weight of his dreams. His dark hair clung to his forehead, damp with sweat, and his chest heaved as if he had run through the scarp woods. The nightmare had been relentless, a tempest of shadows, a cacophony of screams. He saw the border mountains crumble, their peaks swallowed by an abyss. The rivers ran crimson, and the moon bled tears. Macrillion's breath hitched as he woke, disoriented, his heart pounding like a war drum. What foretoken is this? He wondered. The room was dim, lit only by a flickering candle. Macrillion swung his legs over the edge of the bed, his bare feet touching the cold floor. He reached for the dagger on the nightstand, a blade forged by his father, its hilt etched with runes of protection. The weapon was a comfort, a tangible link to his lineage. As he stood, the room seemed to sway. The walls whispered secrets of forgotten gods, of lost knowledge, of ancient artifacts that held the world together. Macrillion shook his head, dismissing the fanciful notions. He was a trainee priest, a novice in the Mediazes temple. His duty lay in upholding the traditions of the northern kingdom, not chasing phantoms. But the visions persisted. He splashed water on his face, the basin's reflection revealing a face etched with worry. His eyes, once bright with curiosity, now held shadows. Macrillion felt an urge to walk out into the night air. Macrillion stepped out into the corridor. The hostel was silent, save for the distant snoring of a patron. The manager, a stout woman with a perpetual scowl, had retired hours ago. Macrillion's boots echoed on the wooden floor as he descended the narrow staircase. Outside, the city slept. Mediazes was no grand metropolis. It lacked the spires of Setafina or the fortifications of Care City. But it was a priest's home, a place of familiar faces and modest dreams. The taverns had closed and their patrons dispersed. The night watch patrolled the streets, their lanterns casting elongated shadows. Macrillion's steps led him toward the city's edge, where the coastal mounds loomed. Their windswept turrets were barely visible in the darkness, but he knew they stood there, a natural barrier between Hothane and the expansive northern ocean. What haunts my dreams? Macrillion wondered. His legs kept on walking even though he knew not where or why until he reached the dunes. The Whispering Dunes, they called it, a place of rustling grasses and elusive creatures who danced by moonlight. Macrillion had heard the stories, the spirits who whispered forgotten truths. But he dismissed them as folklore, the imaginings of bards and old women. And then he saw her, an apparition, a wraith. She floated above a sand dune, her gown shimmering like starlight. Her eyes held the weight of centuries, and her voice was a breeze that stirred the grasses. "Macrillion," she said, her words echoing in his mind. "You are the key." Macrillion's hand instinctively went to the hilt of his dagger. Its blade gleamed, ready for action. "Who are you?" he demanded, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "The Lady of the Dune," she replied. "I am the keeper of secrets, the weaver of destiny, The name alarmed Macrillion. Legend spoke of her, a mysterious figure who wove the threads of fate, her messages ringing through time. But why had she sought him out? He was no one special. A son of a noble, yes. A man of strong belief, not really. Macrillion's mind raced, trying to piece together the puzzle of visions. Was he chosen? Or was this some cruel twist of fate? Macrillion's pulse quickened. What do you want from me? Your fidelity, she said. The planets are aligning. The vortex is awakening. The partition is weakening between dimensions. An evil darkness approaches to destroy your world. You must seek the crystal oracle. The crystal oracle? Macrillion's mind raced. The crystal oracle, the ancient relic said to hold the key to salvation. But where was it? How could he find it? Where? He blurted out, desperation coloring his voice. Travel to the city of Setafina, the Lady of the Dune instructed. Inquire at the temple. The next step in your journey will be told you in the city. And with that, she vanished, a wisp of mist, a memory. Macrillion stood alone in the whispering dunes, the moon peeking through the clouds. His choices lay before him. Follow the Wraith's guidance, travel to Setafina and seek answers at the religious temple, or dismiss the vision as a dream. Return to his room and try to forget the encounter. What path would Macrillion choose? Destiny hung in the balance, and the world held its breath. Hi there. Imagine this story told by firelight. Shadows dancing as the tale unfolds. If you're feeling that atmosphere, take a second to like the video. It keeps stories like this alive. For more journeys through magic, myth, and destiny, subscribe now. I want to hear your thoughts. Which moment stood out to you? Which path should Macrillion take? Leave it in the comments. If this story deserves a wider audience, share it. Then continue your journey. Watch the next one now.